I need to give them the credit for what we're talking about. Those, so shout out to the brothers over there at Maverick Report for giving us the head start today and letting us know how they thought about the Wizard of Oz. And we're going to be talking about these things a little bit more in depth today and what the meaning was. So let me just back up because I think I had the microphone off and I want to make sure everybody got it. And I asked the question at an opening. Today we're stepping into Oz. Not the fantasy, but for clarity, okay? So I want to welcome you back to Lifestyle Focus Wealth. And this is where we're thinking about strategy before products and then legacy before a lifetime. Because every business owner starts out just like Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. I'm telling you, dropped into a strange world, full of opportunity, full of danger, and full of decisions. So the truth is, freedom has a roadmap. Wealth has a structure, and then legacy has a system. So we're going to be talking about all three of these things today. And hopefully we are building on all three ideas: freedom, wealth, and legacy. Where's the roadmap? Where's the structure? And where's the system? And I'm going to relate it to that movie, The Wizard of Oz, and hopefully that it rings true for someone, maybe even bring back some good memories, and maybe make you go back and watch the movie again and see how many points that you missed out on. So as usual, I go through 5 pain points and then 5 ways that we can, solutions that may help you. Excuse me. So why don't we get started? Right? I want to talk about pain point number 1. When you're feeling overwhelmed and confused as a business person, you know, most new founders of a business, they do feel lost. They do. They feel lost, right? Too many tasks, too many decisions, and no clear direction of where you're going. If you don't have those things, you do feel overwhelmed. If you're a new person visiting our show today, put it in the chat. I want you to go ahead and put it in the chat or in our comments. Hello, everybody. I see you. If you're feeling overwhelmed or you're a business owner, put it down. I'm a business owner. Put it in the comments. I want to know that our Lifestyle Focused Wealth community is all here and that we're talking about it because we're not the only ones. We're not the only ones, guys. And I'm going to share with you how we're not. And sometimes the answers have been right in front of us, right in the movies. Right in the movies. Some of the things that you grew up on. You know, we've talked about Scooby-Doo in the past. We've talked about the Jetsons in the past. Today, we're going to be talking about The Wizard of Oz. But in the Oz story, Dorothy was in Munchkin Land. If you remember, see, Dorothy lands in a world she doesn't understand. And it's depending on which version of Oz or the Wiz that you looked at, you have to remember she was in a terrible tornado. And then all of a sudden she wakes up in this place that she doesn't understand at all, right? Everything is loud, everything is colorful, but chaotic at the same time. So everyone is talking to her, not to her, but they're talking at her. There's a difference between someone talking to you and someone talking at you. So let's break this down really quickly. So she doesn't know who to trust because people are talking at her, or what to do next because she's in this strange land. That's exactly how new entrepreneurs feel when they're starting their business. If you've ever felt that way, go ahead and give me a thumbs up or say me too in the chat, because I'm going to give you, after the pain points, I'm going to be giving you some solutions that I think will help someone out here, and I can relate to it. Even though I've been in business almost 30 years, there's still things that you don't see until later, like these stories that I'm talking about. So we want to make sure that you feel, first of all, not alone. Number 2, when you have no clear business structure, maybe it's time for us to start talking about, why do you form a corporation? Most of us that started, if you were like me, I just started it. I was already working before I had a company. You don't know how to use it as a wealth engine. You know, so many people out there that I talk to on a day-to-day basis, they're trying to do things under the table. But if they were doing it in a structured way, they have so many more advantages, and that business becomes the wealth engine. You know, one of the funny things that I think about when you think about Dorothy, right? The very first thing she runs into, and I need to make sure y'all give me some crowd participation on this one. The first person she runs into is Scarecrow. You know, the straw man. Well, I thought that was kind of interesting. The straw man in the real world is the capital letters on your name, what they call your government name, that we've talked about on a past show. If you want to take a look at that, it's called the straw man. I find it interesting that the Scarecrow was the one without the brain. Without a brain, just like a business without a brain. The Scarecrow believes he's missing something essential, a brain. But the truth is, he already has everything he needs. As I say to you all the time in this particular situation, we have everything we need right here in the room. Well, Scarecrow, he doesn't know how to use his brain. It's not that he didn't have one, he didn't know how to use it. So new business owners feel the same way about structure. And somebody has to come out and help you. They have this entity already, but they don't have the strategy of how to use this business, how to use the brain, right? Am I making sense? If I'm making sense, put that in the comments. I'm just trying to get this structure. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I see it. We're about to drop some more nuggets, Leela. Thank you so much. All right. So I find it interesting that the characters in the movie that I've watched many of times, the straw man, that's the business. The Tin Man, tax ID number. Tin Man is the nickname. Tax ID number, that's the Tin Man. If you notice, the Tin Man is the mechanics. It's the computer. Back then it wasn't a computer, but that's what it looks like. And we're going to be talking about the line here shortly. But if you really start putting this thing together, you start feeling it a little bit differently. And quite frankly, it becomes one of my favorite stories. After all these years, you know, I was always entertained when I watched The Wiz. And I was entertained because of Michael Jackson and Diana Ross's characters. And then the other one, the original one, I was always looking at the story on the Yellow Brick Road and thinking that just means, you know, follow what your parents told you to do. But that really wasn't quite what it was all about, was it? It really wasn't what it was quite about. So I know that if I was missing the point, maybe somebody else was missing the point. But my point number 3 today we're going to be talking about is no roadmap. Point number 3 is when you have no roadmap, you know, you got to think about Dorothy. They start walking, right? When they start walking, they don't have a yellow brick road. They don't have one. They don't have one. So let me tell you the story behind that. Dorothy, before the road appears in the show, she runs into a good witch. But before Glenda the good witch points out the yellow brick road, Dorothy was wandering. She had no direction. She had no plan. She had no pathway. So most founders start their business this same way. Moving, but not progressing. Doing stuff, but it's not making it any money. It's not making you profitable. There's no scalability to that. But you're busy. You're just moving. If you've ever felt this way, once again, give me a thumbs up in the chat, right? Point number 4 that we're going to be talking about today is very simple. Fear of failure. Fear of failure. I think every business owner, every entrepreneur has this at the beginning. And in The Wizard of Oz, the lion's fear shows up. Fear of money, fear of banks, fear of launching your next new project. But let me share with you that cowardly lion, the lion roars really, really loud. But inside, he's terrified. He wants to be brave, but he fears. His fears are controlling him. Do you feel like your fears controlling you sometimes? You know, there are moments, and I still have these moments where there's things that I want to do, and then I will hesitate. There's a little side of me that says, maybe you shouldn't. And the other side says, no, go ahead. And then you put that doubt in your brain. But guess what? That's when I know that I'm supposed to go around people who have already done it. Be around people who are successful, people who are fearless, people who are not letting their fears control them. Be around those type of people. Well, entrepreneurs feel this way every time they have to face a bank, have to go get a loan application. Maybe they're introducing a new product to a marketplace, or just a plain out big decision like buying a building or moving from one city to another or expanding in multiple cities. Fear is real, y'all. It's real. It's real, but it's not final. It's not. See, so we're gonna work our way through these pain points today because I want to make sure that we're encouraging you very early. And pain point number 5 we're going to be talking about is no guidance. No mentor, no coach, no Glinda the Good Witch to show you your way. See, in the Oz, Glinda the Good Witch, she doesn't walk the path for Dorothy. Dorothy walks the path by herself. But the Good Witch, Glinda, she simply shows her where it begins, puts her on the right track. Every founder needs someone who knows the shortcut, knows the traps. And then you got to get the pathway to Emerald City, right? That's the premise of the movie. That's the premise of the program. And when you start to watch it, you start to figure out, OMG, they have that right there in front of us. They have that right there in front of us. So before I start talking about these solutions, we're going to come back and we're going to answer some of the solutions. I want to make sure that I say hello to everybody. Thank you guys for joining us. I see Good Friday, Sam. Thank you so much. I see Leela's jumping in. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And our lifestyle focused wealth coaches and insurance advisors and all those folks that come in and talk to us all the time. I really appreciate you because you're making a difference out there in the world. You're making a difference out there in the world every single day. And what Leela say, be the lion and have the courage. Absolutely. Well, truly, you're already built in with it. You're already built in with it. And fear can be controlling you sometimes. Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you this. When we talk about fear, I've learned, and I'm going to share this with you guys. I've learned that what if you're supposed to chase your fear instead of run from it? You know, we watch a lot of scary movies when we were kids. You know, you're always running away from the boogeyman. But when the boogeyman never wins, right? You find out that the boogeyman really is not that boogie. It's not that big of a boogie, right? Someone stands up to the boogeyman, and then all of a sudden it becomes the end of the boogeyman, right? Maybe you're supposed to chase your fear. What if we stop running and start chasing? What if we start putting ourselves in positions where we're going after what scares us most? Think about that for a second. We talked about energy flow, and I like to talk about energy flow, attraction, currency. These things are real. We don't have to chase money. Money is already around you. You're already rich. You just haven't learned to store your riches. That's all we're learning to do. And your riches come from your intellectual property, the people you're around. Your wealth is nothing more than being able to do what you want, when you want, with who you want. And your freedom, it becomes your freedom of time, your freedom of choices. Good Lord. It's a lot out here that you can be guided towards. Am I making sense to you? Hopefully I'm making sense to somebody out there today. So if you would, put the words takeaways. I know you got takeaways based on what I've put out there. This one here is from Leela Wilson. Hey, takeaway. If you're the smartest person in the room, then it's time for you to find a new room. I like that because it sounds like somebody's been listening to me talk often. You're absolutely right. You got to find someone else in the room that has that experience. You got to have someone in that room that could tell you when you start tightening up inside and you start feeling like you got this anxiety. Maybe if you're a new business owner, you're worried about paying your bills. You're worried about feeding your kids. You're worried about hearing your spouse be disappointed in you. You're worried about a lot of things, but guess what? Maybe you chase it. Maybe you just put all the carrot in the wind and then you chase it. What happens when we chase it? I have to start to ask that question. I'm asking you that question. So when we come back, we're going to be talking about those 5 pain points, but this time I'm going to provide you some solutions. Some solutions that I know that when you sit back and think about it, you're going to be able to apply these right when you get off the air. See, and I'm not giving it to you early. I'm giving it to you now because I want you to stick around. So I'll see you after the break. Hey, join our Lifestyle Focused Wealth community. Membership starting at $16 a month when you pay the annual subscription. So register online today at www.lifestylefocusedwealth.com. At L.R. Johnson & Associates, Inc., life insurance was never designed just for when you die. It was designed to protect the life you're building while you're alive. Using our lifestyle-focused design strategies, we know real wealth is not just about numbers on a statement. It's about having more time and freedom for meaningful experiences with your family, business, and legacy. That is the heart of lifestyle-focused wealth philosophy. Designing your money around how you actually want to live, who you want to protect, and what you want to leave behind. When lights out moments happen in life, your family should not be forced to struggle, sell assets, start over, or sacrifice the future you worked so hard to create. The wealthy understand this. They do not look at life insurance as just another bill. They look at it as a family banking strategy, a tool for protection, a tool for leverage, a tool for preserving wealth and positioning the next generation to move forward with strength. Because you work too hard to leave your income, your family, and your future exposed to chance. Life insurance, when structured the right way, becomes more than a policy. It becomes love in action. It becomes leadership. It becomes a promise that the people who depend on you will be protected no matter what. This is about taking control today so tomorrow is not left uncertain. Protect your income. Protect your family. Protect your future. Because life insurance is not just about a policy. It is about the lifestyle you protect and the legacy you leave. Follow L.R. Johnson & Associates, Inc., licensed insurance professionals for more lifestyle-focused wealth strategies. Contact our office to schedule a one-on-one session with our financial professionals today. Hey, good day, good day, good day. I'm Ronco Johnson, your lifestyle-focused wealth coach. How's everybody doing today? It's Lifestyle Focus Friday, and today we've been talking about the yellow brick road to freedom. We're talking about business structure. We're talking about roadmaps. We're talking about wealth, the lifestyle focused way. And, before the break, we were talking about these things and making comparisons to the Wizard of Oz and how business owners think and how they may be feeling. Today, I want to give 5 solutions. And we've already talked about the headaches and the pain points, but I think it's important that we shift that just a little bit. And I like to do these identity shifts because a lot of times, a lot of us haven't figured out how to flip that negative thought into something positive and very meaningful. So we're going to take those ideas that we spoke about before the break, and we're going to flip those pain points using our lifestyle focused wealth what if positive framework. And that's going to help connect each solution to something that you can see when you go watch the Oz, and then you can apply it in your real life. Okay, so let's go back through these things. Number one solution and the number one pain point, we talked about feeling overwhelmed and having clarity, right? So when we got to this point, feeling overwhelmed and having clarity, so let's provide the pain point. Good. All right. That's already on the screen. And we're going to talk about the solution to that. What if you had a yellow brick road? What if you had a step-by-step path that replaced all the confusion with confidence? You see, in the story, the road appears, and Glinda, the good witch, points to the yellow brick road. Everything begins to change for Dorothy. She suddenly has direction in her life. She knows where to step. She knows where she's going. The clarity replaces the chaos when you don't know where you're going, right? So this is the importance of understanding that you may be standing in the weeds, have no idea what you're doing. But it's important to have someone around you that can give you the guidance, simply point you in the right direction, wind you up, and let you go. That was important for me. And you know what? Some of these things I've learned that I've done by accident, but they've turned out for me to be super, super important in my career. Point number 2, let's talk about it. Point number 2 was all about structure and not having a clear structure, right? So we're going to talk about that. Number 2 solution. If you don't have a clear structure, what if your corporation wasn't just paperwork? What if the true wealth engine to your design was there to protect you and to free you of time? See, in the Wizard of Oz, we start to think about the Scarecrow's brain. The Scarecrow doesn't discover that he had intelligence all along. It took him a minute to figure it out. It took him a moment to figure out that he had the intelligence all along. He just needed someone to show him how to use his intelligence. That was it. Your corporation is the same way. The power is already there. You just need a strategy. Yes, all. Some time, a strategy, a coach. These things will help you get right back in alignment. And I'm hopeful that I'm making sense to you guys today. Put this down in the comments. Am I pulling this together? Am I the only one that found this a very interesting topic today? Because I'm sure I'm not the only one that can use it, right? What if? That's right. What if? Let's look at a couple of turnaways. The takeaways today. When you run towards your fear, you run towards your success. I like that. I like that. I like that. I really believe that. And it is a scary proposition. It is a scary proposition. And you start to see that, you start to learn that I might as well just run after it. Might as well, especially when I don't like the results I'm currently living in. Takeaways. My journey takes me down the yellow brick road. Yes. Everybody's going down the yellow brick road together. And that's important. I love this topic. I think it's very interesting as well. Thank you so much, Donna, for putting that out there. Boy, you guys got it going on today. I skipped my happy tail down the yellow brick road. Man, listen. I think we all need to just skip our happy tails down the yellow brick road. Why? Because it would be much easier if we did it voluntarily, wouldn't you think? Because a lot of times we just don't. We be fighting it. I know I did. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you just because I'm on your internet or on your YouTube screen. I fought a lot of stuff. I just kick and scream, and some things I just didn't want to do. But guess what? You got to do it. And that was the point I'm making. The number 3 pain point was the roadmap. If you don't have the roadmap, here's the solution for you. The roadmap really is progress. What if your business had a freedom roadmap? It was nothing more than a plan that helps you. That plan is there to tell you exactly what to do next. What if you had that? You see, in the story, they say, follow the yellow brick road. Once Dorothy started walking on the yellow bricks and following the yellow brick road, she began to make progress. See, she meets allies. She gains confidence. All these things are happening at the same time as she's moving forward closer and closer to her goal, right? That roadmap creates momentum. When things start going right, you learn that they're going right. And once they start going right, you can't mistake the results. You can't. You don't mistake the results at all. Why? Because you're moving places. You're going places. And everyone around you can see it. Everyone around you can see it. And while you're moving, and while you're continuously making things happen, Hey, it's Ronco Johnson, your lifestyle focused wealth coach. I'm still here. We just had some technical difficulties, but I'm still hanging out with you. Thank you guys for sticking around. And those of you that are still with us, thank you very much for just hanging out there with us. So we were still talking about primitive, how it's important for business owners to stay on the road, stay on the yellow brick road. Sometimes things happen. And you just got to pick up where you left off and get back on the road. Every once in a while, there's things that's going to happen in this world that are meant to throw us off. Kind of like going off a podcast, But at the end of the day, when you have your composure and you got your scripts and you know where you're supposed to go, and you realize that that's just part of the journey, then you can pick it up. You feel no remorse about picking up where you left off and starting all over again. And you can do it over and over and over again. So we were talking about solutions and the roadmap, and having the solution number 3 was the roadmap of freedom, and making sure that you know that things don't always go the way it's planned. But there is a roadmap out there, and I was sharing with you guys before I was interrupted that, Dorothy got a chance to meet allies and build her confidence, and she had steps towards her goal. At the end of the day, her goal was to get to the Emerald City. And once she met those goals, then we all know how the story ends, right? But number 4, you got to have some courage. And in having courage, I have to be honest with you, in the solution part of this deal, is understanding that courage equals action. What if courage wasn't something you just found? What if it was something that you built through clarity and coaching? See, the lion has courage. The lion learns courage isn't an absence of fear. It's acting despite fear, right? That's the difference. Entrepreneurs build courage through their knowledge and building their intellectual property. They have structures. They have coaches. They have wins. They have losses. Courage is engineered. It's true. You got to build that courage. You got to learn what to expect, what not to expect, and that some bumps and bruises are going to come along the way. But having the courage to get up and keep going, that's the message that we're learning here. That's the message. And that's what you want to lead by example. You want to be able to do these things for your family, your kids, the people who are watching you that you don't know that are watching you. I think we're so conditioned in these days that we watch for people's failure and we don't look for their successes, right? The number 5 solution of the day: guidance and acceleration. And I want you to really pay attention to this one. What if you had your own Glenda, Good Witch Glenda, a mentor who knows the shortcut, knows all the traps, knows the pathway to Emerald City? Suppose you got that in your corner. See, in the movie Oz, Glenda's guidance, Glenda doesn't walk the path for Dorothy. She simply just shows her the way and where to begin. But that guidance accelerates everything. It saves her time. It saves you money. See, these are these parallels that I want to put together today. And I'm hopeful that it's making sense. I'm hopeful that these parallels are helping you get into the conversation, because I think these parallels are powerful. And if it wasn't for the good guys over there at Maverick Report, I wouldn't even been able to bring it to you. And I believe in giving credit to where it came from. See, Dorothy is the founder of a business. The Scarecrow is the strategy. The Tin Man is the system, and the Lion is the courage. See, the Wizard is what we're talking about, the branding, right? That's all part of it. Glenda's the coach, and the Emerald City is your financial freedom. Huh. And don't forget about those flying monkeys, those naysayers. They're out there. They're out there, and they don't want you to win. But as long as you stay on the yellow brick road and you understand that, hey, you got to believe in the process. If you continue to believe in the process and you keep going down that yellow brick road or that journey of yours, you're going to find freedom. You might bump into it. It might be unorthodox how you get there, but you're definitely going to find it. It's at the end of the road. So your freedom roadmap is very, very simple. Your business becomes the freedom engine when you align yourself up. When you align your structure, your strategy, and your systems, courage, branding, all those things fall right into place. Not to mention having a right coach and coaching yourself and understanding what your vision is and then going after it. This is how you walk the yellow brick road. You know, this episode, we had a little bit of a challenge, and I'm sorry for that. But like anything else, we get off the road, we got to get back on it. So my closing statements today is very simple. You know, she has some ruby red slippers. Here's your ruby red slipper moment. See, Dorothy had the power the whole time. So do you. Your corporation is your ruby red slippers. Your roadmap is your yellow brick road. Your coaching is your Glenda or Coach Ronco. Hey, I'll take it. And your courage is your lion. Your systems, Tin Man. And your strategies, Scarecrow. These are all important. And when you put them all together, you unlock the truth. Freedom is truly built. Wealth is engineered. And legacy is intentional. Hey, listen, that's my time today. I hope that I've been able to encourage you and give you some insight to something that maybe we have just been looking over. But I want to make it fun because it doesn't have to be that strategically difficult to do. There's no strategy in making it difficult. Strategy is meant to make it easier. And you can get there faster and accelerate. That's the goal, right? So listen, I'm Ronco Johnson. This has been When the Lights Go Out. Are you ready? I'm going to invite you to join us in our Lifestyle Focused Wealth Society. And if you're ready to stop wandering and start walking your own yellow brick road, if you're ready to build your business and create freedom, you don't want to stress. Don't stress yourself out. Just join us. This is where we are ready to engineer wealth. We're not chasing it. It's the time to join Lifestyle Focused Wealth. Our society is welcoming you. And inside, you're going to get strategic coaching. You're going to get your freedom roadmaps. You're going to get your wealth structure and your wealth building architecture. It's already here. We have business structure guidance. We have a community of founders that are walking the same pathway. Your Emerald City is awaiting. Your ruby red slippers are already on your feet. Now it's time to take the first step. And I look forward to seeing you when you reach the top. Hey, that's my time for now. I'm Ronco Johnson, and I look forward to talking to you next week, every Friday, right here, same place, same time. And don't forget to tell your friends that you're hanging out with us because it's really, really important. Each one bring one, and we can grow this thing successfully together. I want to make sure you have a wonderful weekend. God bless, and I'll see you next time. See you later.